best days of volleyball from Oak Street have led to this Championship Sunday. 2 more match victories earns you a chance to spray the champagne and revel in a Chicago Open title. A semifinal win is the first order of business here on our stadium court as our Chicago Open in 2024 hits final day action. 6 matches on stadium, and we're looking forward to our semifinals. First, let's lay out the brackets for you as we've arrived here. Our semifinals on the men's side are going to be coming up second. Buttinger Evans, Taylor Crabb, and Taylor Sander. Lots of intriguing storylines there. Baumgren and Field against the other Olympic pair, Benish and Partain. On the women's side, they will this morning and talk about Olympic participation. Kloth and Nuss, Cheng and Hughes, number 1 versus 2. On the other side, Humana Paredes and Wilkerson, silver medalists in Paris. Get Tony Rodriguez and Jeannie Arango, one of the hottest teams on the AVP. We have Olympians in the sand, and we have Olympians in the booth. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist April Ross as well as Rich Lambourne to get us started and carry us through today. April, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to watch some amazing volleyball today.
We're going to jump right in with this Olympic matchup, and you were talking about the energies between these two teams being quite different.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by how they have such different energies, but both get the job done. Taryn and Kristen are just cool as a no matter what the situation. It could be match point, the biggest game of their life, and they're just the same way as they started the match. Sara and Kelly have this intensity, this desire, like you can palpably feel their desire to win and, you know, hammer the other team. So it's very different, and they're both amazing in their own ways.
Rich, you've been here all weekend. What sticks out for this semifinal?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo that sentiment. Setting the vocab bar high, palpable already this morning. I love it. Yeah, there's so many different ways to skin a cat, so to speak, right? And doing what you do and doing it well is so critical to victory, right? Both of these teams take a different route, but they really do what they do extremely well, and I think that contributes to their success.
All right, Mark Sherman does what he does well. He's going to get the credit on the sand and get us started. 6 matches of action starts right now.
Yes, ma'am, there will be cookies. Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome. You're like, what is that guy talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Championship Sunday in Chicago, where there's always cookies. There's always champions. There might be a little bit of drama, too. And I know we got Olympians. We got 4 Olympians to start the day. How do we feel about that, Chicago? Yes. I feel good about that as well. Let's do it. You know what? Come on over here. Let's meet our first 2 Olympians. Hello. Good morning, players. Good morning, Sara. Good morning, Kelly. We have got some fantastic players to start off. They were together at the University of Southern California, where they were 87-time national champions, something like that. They are now reigning world champions, ladies and gentlemen. First up out of Fullerton, California. Let me hear it for Kelly Cheng. And her partner out of Costa Mesa. She's so much fun to watch. She's fun to watch celebrate their points. Got your connection with Kelly is so good. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Sara Hughes. And their opponents, talk about a connection. Their connection started in college at LSU, where they won 50 matches. Was it 50? 50, no? Something like that? 36. I don't have 50 in my head. Whatever. 36. That was her. Got it. Never lost. This first player literally never lost in college, ladies and gentlemen, at LSU. It's not a thing to her. She doesn't know what losing means. Out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Let me hear it for Taryn. Kloth. And her partner, who, by the way, along with Taryn, is looking to go back to back here in Chicago. Oh, yes, she comes from New Orleans in Louisiana. She is Kristen Nuss.
I'm from Louisiana.
They may not be from the upper Midwest, but they have taken over the upper Midwest. Team of the year 22 and 23, Kloth and Nuss. And the Slunks blue. On the other side in the black suits, that's going to be the other Olympic pair, Sara Hughes, Kelly Cheng. Incredible success their time at USC. Sara Hughes will go back to serve first. A little bit of wind this morning, April. This is the most weather we've had all weekend.
I noticed that walking up to the booth. It's really windy. And what's weird about a stadium is it can change the direction of the wind. So it'll be interesting to see which direction it's blowing.
The swirls as the first ball goes to Nuss. And she cuts it just enough.
Can you get better than that? Along the net.
I'm actually surprised they went to Kristen off the bat. When they were warming up, I thought they were going to be targeting Taryn, which a lot of international teams have started to do. Kristen just gets the job done.
It's kind of been the pattern, oddly, right, is to go after Kristen of late. I mean, excuse me, after Taryn of late.
Yeah, when Taryn and Kristen came out, everybody was serving Kristen. I mean, why wouldn't you? She's the shortest player out here, but it took people about a year to realize that's not the easiest thing to defend against.
You better get your running shoes on.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Crabb.
Well, Hughes had her running shoes on there, but that ball's a little bit too long, and it's 2-1 Cheng Hughes.
I do think the wind is blowing towards Sara and Kelly, which is why that ball maybe carried a little bit more.
Cheng and Hughes all-time lead the series 5-2. Last meeting nearly a year ago, it was 15-13 in the third. And that was a victory for Cheng Hughes. Hughes in transition. Kloth on 2 off the touch, puts it away right on the line. Taryn Kloth, 6'4", partner 5'6". Kristen Nuss.
.64 lets you go just right over the top, I think.
Out to the pin, trying to go through the block, and she does. Kelly Cheng, known for her creativity. We haven't seen a ton of the option this weekend, Rich. Will we see more of it today is one of the things I'm wondering.
Well, I think as they've progressed as a partnership, they've kind of utilized it more out of necessity rather than trying to force it, which I like, kind of the discretion.
Nuss checks down and finds the deep corner line side.
And one of the reasons people are now serving Kelly, which hasn't historically been the case, is to get rid of the on-2, right? Is if she's passing the ball, she can't do that on-2, which is incredibly hard to defend against.
We saw Sara take an option ball yesterday, late in the day, but it seemed like lightning struck the court or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sara has one of the hardest hits on the beach. She has worked super hard to improve her game over the years, and I think it's extremely visible.
All right, well, 3 of the 4 champions over the last 4 years are present today. We have April Ross in the booth. You see that
hey-o.
Kloth and Nuss are defending their title.
I don't know if this is correct, but I think this is where Sara and Kelly won their first AVP title.
2017, correct.
Yeah, they beat me and Lauren Fendrick in the semis.
Youngest team ever to win a title at that time.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Now, you're not on the sand this week because you were enjoying Italy last week. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. My first vacation, really, since giving birth to my son. So it was much needed, but I was not prepared to come back and jump in against the best beach volleyball players on the planet.
Do you leave your son with grandma or something at home, or do you take him with you?
Grandma, yes. Part-time nanny, we have a little bit of help so that I can train and do all the other things that I have my hands in. And then my sister also came up and helped.
Awesome.
Definitely, I mean, takes a village. It's crazy how hard it is.
It does. That ball on 2, killed by Kloth. You'll see her routinely turn and get pretty good steam on the ball. We're tied at 5 here in the first set, women's semifinal 1. Kevin Barnett alongside the Olympic gold medalists, April Ross and Rich Lamborn.
That is one of the hardest, that shot you just saw is what makes Kelly so good. She comes in, she's completely facing the angle, and then she just has this chip over the line from super high, but she can also hammer angle from there too.
Looking for the deep line and just missing. Yeah, the wind for the moment is opposite of the normal direction that we've had over the last couple of days. It's been in the face of where Cheng and Hughes are currently, but it is now behind them.
So yeah, you'll see probably is Taryn gonna jump serve here? Yeah, into the wind. That makes a lot of sense. Ooh.
This is not the West Coast where the wind is predominantly from the west 90% of the time. Rarely do you get like a southern breeze. Here we've had everything. We've had a complete change of direction inside of a single day. Welcome to Chicago. Nuss from the middle gets right over the retreating Kelly Cheng.
What's the key, April, to good vision on the beach, do you think?
Second side switch.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of different strategies to using vision on the beach, and I think it depends on how you're taught, and your height actually plays a big role in it. Like if you're tall, one of the taller players, it's hard to see. When you go up to hit the ball, there's nothing in front of you, so it's hard to see. So I think a lot of taller players actually have to dip their head as they're taking their step close and take a look, like you just saw Kelly do. But people maybe like Kristen can come in and keep everything in front of them and not have to take a full look, but can kind of take in the whole picture, which is why I think that helps her be very effective on offense.
There's a nice option heater off of this scramble play from Sara Hughes. Mentioned the last one went 3 sets. Time before that was here in Chicago a year ago in the semifinals as well. Victory there for Kloth and Nuss. That was 15-12 in the third. So we're expecting a long match here to open our day as that block is picked up by Cheng. 3 of the 4 teams in the women's semis here were also in the semis in 2023.
I think that's one of Kelly's best blocking moves, that kind of late jump into the angle. Really times that well.
From a jump no to a jumbo, it's the kill for Kelly Cheng, 10-7. Jump no.
Kloth and Nuss have come through the winner's bracket all the way, played the minimum number of matches. And there's that for Cheng and Hughes. They suffered a loss yesterday in 3 sets to Melissa Humano-Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson, who we'll see in our second semifinal. And then they had to get another victory that came over Brooke Bauer and MJ Rice. Pretty effective 21-13 performance as that ball cannot be returned. 21-13, 21-13 to get back to the semis. So these 2 teams have taken the least number of matches you can have to put 2 teams into the semis.
I can tell you, after being in the contenders bracket, after the first match in Manhattan Beach Open, it makes a huge difference staying in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, we'll see Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander later. We'll see how they're doing after 4 matches yesterday. They won 4 in the contenders on Saturday.
That is a lot of work. A lot of work. I don't know if people get the credit they deserve for going 4 matches in a day playing beach volleyball in the sand.
Would it be easier if you wore shoes? That's the question.
I still don't know why he's wearing shoes.
He's got a footed shoe.
Oh, yeah. Does he? Okay.
Yeah. It's not just looking for sponsorship.
Big
block again for Cheng.
That's a great move by Kelly. It's super deceptive. She's showing that the angle, which is Taryn's favorite hit, is wide open, and then she's diving in at the last second and shutting it down. I do think the wind is having a little bit to do with why Taryn is going with it, and it's dropping on her, and so she's hitting it a little bit lower than she normally does, which makes it a little easier for Kelly to block.
That chip shot is it wide. It's right on the line. And that side out will carry us to 12-9. And the technical timeout here in the first set. The lead for Cheng and Hughes. +3 as they get the 5s from Jordan Cheng. This partnership has taken the AVP and run roughshod through it. But it wasn't necessarily going to be beach for Taryn Kloth. Here's her on that choice.
Why did you want to play beach after playing indoor for so long?
That's a great question. I was an idiot. No, it actually took me forever to decide if I wanted to play indoor or beach volleyball. And to be completely honest, I did not think that I could. I think I'm a very stubborn person, so when I set my mind on something, I am going to do it. I'm going to finish it. I don't care what it's going to take. And I like to pick the hardest thing to do. So what is the hardest possible thing to do? Playing a professional sport and something that you just started a couple of years ago. That is way harder.
Time Creighton Stars made it look pretty easy. 17 AVP tournaments, 7 titles.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, she made the right choice, I'd say. It's hard to decide when you're in it whether you want to play indoor or beach.
How did you manage that when you made that choice ages ago?
I hated playing beach when I was growing up, all through college. Never went out to the beach to play with my friends. It wasn't until I fell out of love with indoor volleyball that I tried beach, and then I was like, what was I doing all those years? This sport is amazing.
Did you tell indoor, it's not you, it's me, when you broke up with indoor?
No, I just slammed the door and left.
Okay.
That is hard to imagine, you not being in love with beach volleyball, considering the career you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I played CBVA for a summer when I was 14, but other than that,
Impressive.
yeah, it was all indoor. But
Big board replay. Scoop.
it's hard on your body. Like, as I played 3 years professionally, and after that, I was out of luck with it. I'll say that. But the thing that I think makes beach volleyball so amazing, other than the actual playing, is the community of people. Like, every time you go to an event, it's just really fun, and you feel like it's a family, and you travel around the world with them, and you can't beat it. Meet wonderful people like you guys.
13-10, Cheng and Hughes, Kloth and Nuss. First set action, another dig by Hughes here. The defender's coming alive, and both converting points.
Sara's playing really well right now. She's extremely mobile. Sometimes she'll get a little stuck in the pocket, but right now she's reading really well and running everything down. She came to play.
Both of these teams are into the AVP League. League play starts in 2 weeks' time. Teams are going to be announced shortly, coming next week, so you can get yourself set for league play starting in Los Angeles, UCLA Tennis Center, 2 weeks' time, and concluding in Los Angeles in November.
I think this is going to be really exciting, the league. You know, the dates, the cities planned well in advance.
Oh, we've got a bee on court, it looks like.
How's that bee hanging in this wind? Yeah, and then you know which teams are going to be there. There's going to be some rivalries heating up, I'm sure. I know the players are all really excited about it.
I'm interested to see how they manage cheering for the other pair. So you'll have one male, one female pair as a team, and their success depends on the other pair's success.
Yeah, I thought about that. So if you're paired with a men's team, if I am, like, I will be, yeah, depending on who it is. I have this control issue. So it's going to be hard for me to be like hands off, you know. I'm going to be sitting there watching and want to coach. And you know, like, I'm going to have some input. My fate is dependent on how these guys play and what they do in their off time, you know. So it'll be interesting.
How that goes over.
I know it'll be interesting. I'm already telling myself to bite my tongue.
Well, if you want to come and see the fireworks of April yelling at someone and them yelling back, we're not sure there'll be any pushing and shoving like yesterday, but it will happen in Los Angeles at the beginning of September. And you can see that. We will tour the United States. We'll go all the way to Austin, Palm Beach, back to Oceanside, Dallas. Go ahead and plan the continuation of your 2024 summer vibes all the way into November and the championships back in LA. Look at the stiff breeze blowing in here. How much do you think this has mattered here in set number 1, April?
I think it's mattered a lot, actually. We can feel the banner behind us. It's super, super windy. I think the left-sider, so the side that Kelly's on, she's the left-sider, is the hardest quadrant of the court to play in right now. And so Taryn and Kristen might go after her. When Sara sets it, the set might blow too far inside. When it blows too far inside, it's hard to bring it back to the line. It makes it a little bit easier to play defense against.
A little bit of sandblasting going on. We're getting it even up here in the booth, 20 feet above the sand. They do go after Cheng. Pull. Nice dig by Kloth. Nobody up. That one's put away. So a little bit of action out of the timeout. They come within 4.
Timeout, 2 straight for TKN. Getting into the latter stages here in set number 1.
Yeah, I think Taryn and Kristen are taking a little bit of time here to get to their top level.
Sara and Kelly had to win an extra match.
We'll see if they can make a comeback here, but I would expect them to come out a little bit stronger in the second.
Interestingly, the last time these two teams met, the last 2 times, it has gone those 3 sets, but the winning side has lost the first set.
And it's a 3-0 run. 13-16.
Miss there. The lead is now 3.
She did miss it, and that is like, no one else thinks to do that. It was wide open. If it was in, it would have gone down. I would love to just get inside Kelly Cheng's head for a match or 2. See what she sees.
She sees the angle that time.
Took a big look. That's the hardest thing to do when you take a full head bob look, is to then hammer it in the angle. That's an elite play.
Nuss, right side.
Oh,
trying to find some line. There's nothing there.
Yeah, you can tell they're just a little out of rhythm right now. That's a very uncharacteristic mistake by Kristen.
Rich, I wonder how much of that is the wind on that side affecting the setting right now.
Yeah, I would think so. April talked a little bit about this left quadrant that Taryn's occupying right now and how the setting can be tough. I think it works the other way as well, because we don't see those kind of ball control mistakes out of TKN almost ever, right? And certainly not repeatedly like we've seen a little bit in this first set.
What we've seen in this first set is a lot of Sara Hughes offensively. She's been tearing it up. Hughes hitting 667 now. Serving Nuss. That ball touched, and Hughes is there again, but that ball cannot be controlled. So it'll be 19-14. Cheng and Hughes pretty solidly in control of this set. Rich, do you have any changes in mind if you were in the coaching box right now for Kloth and Nuss? What would you be looking to for a second set?
Yeah, I don't think they need to change much necessarily. They just need to settle in to their game and kind of eliminate some of those ball control errors that I'm sure they will. April mentioned it as well. They'll come out with a little bit maybe better energy in the second set without a doubt.
Can they make a couple plays down the stretch here? They cannot, because that ball is deep corner from Cheng, and it's 20-14.
Yeah, I think they just need to force themselves to go for balls like that. Kristen can, you see her dig balls like that most of the time. I think their lack of rhythm on offense is affecting their defense as well right now, and so they need to let go of something and probably just get really aggressive. I think on their offensive portion right now, they're trying to see too much. It's windy. It's hard to make good contact with the ball if you take your eye off the ball for too long. I think both of them just need to go in and use their feel a little bit more than trying to see everything super clearly.
Second set point opportunity here for Cheng and Hughes. Side switch. Do they go after Cheng? Trying to loop it in, and it is long. That'll end set number 1, 21-15. Cheng and Hughes, the number 2 seed, defeat the number 1 seed, but that may be a bad harbinger given the history between these two teams. Whoever wins the first set has lost the match the last time these teams met here in Chicago, as well as on the FIVB Tour. This semifinal will have set number 2 action coming up. Can Cheng and Hughes close it, or do we go 3? The AVP Chicago Open is brought to you by Rainstorm Clean Energy. Great flavor, zero sugar.
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now.
We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, for San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here.
Kelly Cheng and her partner Sara Hughes win the first set, some of it on the strength of Cheng's presence at the net. Over 4 matches here in Chicago, she came in with 15 blocks, and she has continued that exceptional play at the net. Our monster block of the day, our Rainstorm monster block of the day. happens here. Kelly Cheng should vary what she does at the net quite a bit.
Yeah, she's, you know, we talked about her being creative on offense. She's creative on defense as well. And she's one of the most deceptive blockers out there. She is not the tallest, but she gets low. She reads really well. She reads the hitter really well. She'll take liberties against the play. So even if, you know, she calls angle, she might stay in the line. And as a hitter, that can be really hard if you're trying to see the block and hit around her. And she doesn't go high, which is huge. You know, she seals the net really well. She keeps her hands low to the net. A lot of blockers try to get as high as they can, and that's not the right thing to do.
Rich, Taryn Kloth comes in as one of the top blockers in the tournament, but did not pick up a single block and does it there on the first point of our second set. How does she get into the zone, get a hold of either Cheng or Hughes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going back to the basics, right? Sometimes you end up in a situation where you're kind of chasing the last play. I think you just have to sort of reset. I'm sure they did a little game plan revisit.
There's a redirect.
Yeah, there's a redirect. Yeah, we'll see if she can get a little traction, because how important, April, is it as a defender that your blocker is kind of doing what you expect in front of you?
Generally, it's really important, and you want to be on the same page with your blocker. Wow, that's a great pickup by Sara.
See if they can pick up another one here. That one will be tracked out of bounds. Sara Hughes continues to be lethal, picking up digs and getting kills. 6 digs, hitting 625. And they have executed their plan on the other side. Nuss is hitting 188.
Yeah, Sara and Kelly are playing really well, and that'll happen when you lose a match, right? So they have the killer mindset. They're out here to win the whole thing. Nothing else is going to be satisfactory. So when they get knocked down a peg, which they did yesterday, they're going to come back with a vengeance. They're going to figure out what they did wrong yesterday. They're going to correct it. They're on a mission today, and you can tell that they showed up ready to go.
But they've also, it seems, managed that post-Olympic period. Very difficult turnaround from the end of Paris, fly home on a Monday, play Friday in Manhattan Beach. Here they have a little bit of distance from the games. How challenging is that for you to reset when you've come back from an Olympic Games into the regular AVP play?
That was so challenging for Alex and I to come home. I believe we had 2 weeks before Manhattan Open after the Tokyo Games, and I have never been that emotionally depleted in my life. So it's a challenge, and the way they're playing right now is really impressive. They seem just excited to be here on a mission to win. But I think that it can also be a little bit based on how they did in Paris, and I know they weren't happy with their finish.
No one is, generally, except the team that
no
won.
one is. And they're out here with something to prove.
All right, 3-1. They proved it in the first set, 21-15, and now 3-1 total here. Cheng and Hughes off to a quick start. The cable benefiting Kristen Nuss. There is a lot more wind coming in the stadium court right now. Most we've seen the entire weekend. There's a good run. Can Kloth turn it? No. Hughes there again. Exceptional defense. Both defenders shining. Once again. Nuss. No.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable stuff.
And a
both sides
fantastic
there.
finish from Kelly.
It was a great rally, and Sara and Kelly walk away with the point, but I do think that's promising for Taryn and Kristen.
This is our Wilson play of the day. I think we just give it to the defenders. Support rolls for the blockers, but the defenders shining once again.
Yeah, and Rich, you asked how important it was for the blocker to block with their calling for the defender. I think 90% of the time, at least, that's really important, and it depends on how well your blocker reads. If your blocker's a great reader, they should have an ample amount of freedom to make moves against the play.
Nuss into that angle. Option taken, but just missed.
That's out of
No
bounds.
touch, 5-2.
And it's 5-2. Big
Yeah, I just think of it so often as a symbiotic thing, right? You
No.
mentioned how well Sara Hughes is playing, and that is no doubt the case. But we saw that block package of Kelly Cheng, and I think those two very often go hand in hand, right? When the blocker's pretty dialed, it makes it all the easier for the defender, and vice versa.
Yeah, and it is symbiotic, but the symbiotic part is the timing. So I don't think it's it's necessarily what part of the court you're covering and knowing what your blocker's taking, what you're taking. It's the timing of when you move. And if it's synced up with your blocker, that's when it's the most effective. If one of you goes too early, then you kind of sell out the other person, and your play's not going to work as well.
Right, very well said. Guy I know you like a lot, Tyler Hildebrand, used to talk about kind of patience, right? And the more patient your blocker is in front of you, the more patient it allows you to be behind them.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, patience is a huge part of beach volleyball. You want to go early. It's so hard to move in the sand. You want to approach early. You want to run to the line early. But
There's a run to the line there.
The later you can be, the more patient you can be, the more effective you are.
Second run to the line isn't there. 7-3. Cheng and Hughes continues to apply the pressure. Here in set 2, already leading 3-9. Kevin Barnett, you're getting gold medal discussion here. The breakdowns coming from Rich Lamborn and April Ross. As we watch our women's semifinal, first of 6 matches on our stadium court. Appreciate you being with us here on Valley Live. We're looking forward to the CW for the finals on this year's Volleyball Championship Sunday from Chicago. There's another touch. A charging Hughes is there. Turn. Not quite put away yet. That ball will be outside of play, and it's another one
out of bounds.
for one side of this Olympic duo. Both these teams representing Team USA in Paris just a few short weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm wondering the difference also between Olympic hangovers for each of these teams. Yeah, I wonder if it's different. You know, Kelly has been there before. She had big aspirations going into Paris, and unfortunately was disappointed again. And so
there was a lot to work through in Manhattan for her.
I think it will. Okay, yeah. I mean, she's fired up, and I know she wants more, and you can see that today. And Taryn and Kristen, I don't know. Maybe, you know, their perspective might be a little different. It was their first time. Super happy to be there. I know it wasn't the finish they wanted either, but maybe they're not so much on a mission. That's just speculation.
It seems like there's plenty of time for both of these pairs. Cheng and Hughes are the older at 28 and 29. I mean, look, they're just hitting their stride in the sport of beach volleyball. 27 and 26, the younger side of Kloth and Nuss. Ball punch back over. Oh, Sara Hughes there again. She's everywhere. Except
making it work for it, but
Those are some great
days.
days. Taryn and Kristen are having such a hard time putting the ball away against Kelly and Sara right now.
That was a flying gator. Yeah, it's. I feel like, you know, we talked about what do Taryn and Kristen need to do better in the second set. It's not that they're doing anything poorly. It's just that Kelly and Sara are so on their game right now. They're really just imposing their will.
no blocks for Kloth. We'll chip this one and trying to go short with the serve into the win.
But that's just
now 10-5.
I think that's just an example, a little bit of how they're playing right now. She should just toss that ball up and hit it as hard as she can. She's trying to keep it in, and the more you get into that hole of I just got to get the ball in, I just got to, you know, not make a mistake, that it usually doesn't work out very well for you.
Cheng, who has 3 blocks in this match, they all came in the first set. As we get close to the midway point, no one has stuffed a ball at the net.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. When you find yourself in a little bit of a rut or a little bit of a hole on the scoreboard, there's really no tentative way out of that hole.
I mean, my mentality in situations like that is how much worse can it get? You know, so you might as well just go 110%, foot on the gas. And if you continue to make mistakes, that's okay, because you're making mistakes already. So might as well just throw everything you have at the other side.
They continue to work on Nuss. That plan has worked thus far. High line works this time for Kristen. Nuss is looking for a little offensive punch. She's hitting better than Kloth with 260. He's not going to win a ton of matches. Wind playing a factor for the first time this weekend.
I don't know if this is the case. I know it's hard for me in the wind, but I'm wondering if it's harder maybe for Kristen with this wind than it would be for Taryn or Kelly, like a taller player.
Okay, because the ball has to be in the air longer, or why would that be?
Because the ball moves more and you don't have as much time above the tape to make adjustments. So a taller player can go up and have a little bit more time to make a decision. If Kristen takes too much time, the ball has moved farther away from her.
Okay, so the margins are a little bit smaller if you are the shorter player.
You know, I'm thinking as I'm talking, so or pondering while I'm talking. I'm wondering if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, though.
That's the way to go to the technical timeout.
With the monstrous block.
Yeah, if you're a little bit shorter, your window is just naturally going to be a little bit smaller, right? I think is your point.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be the case.
Kloth coming up late, finally getting her first stuff. And there, let's go indeed. We mentioned the league coming up. League play beginning in 2 weeks' time. Champions earlier this year, so were already in. They were guaranteed participation. These are the qualified teams. This is who you'll get to watch throughout the fall. We promise you the best beach volleyball. You're going to get it. This is a great combination of rising teams along with established talent and a wild card in there. We'll see how that pairing does.
New pairing.
You know, we didn't want to depend on getting the wild card. We tried really hard, but unfortunately, we just didn't play it enough this summer to sharpen our swords well enough to gain that automatic berth that everybody wanted this summer. So excited to have, you know, we'll be competing in 4 of the 8 events in the league, and we feel like we're on the up and up, you know, and we'll be bringing our best volleyball for the league events.
There's the gold medalists from Tokyo, April Ross, Alex Kleiman. That ball popped up. Here comes Kloth and Nuss with their first grab of momentum in this match.
That was interesting. I feel like Taryn set that ball a lot lower to Kristen than she's been setting. So maybe that was something they discussed in the timeout, keeping those sets a little bit lower for Kristen.
Kristen will stay at the service line.
Which, in the wind, you want to keep those sets a little bit lower so they blow a little less. They move a little bit less.
Tough serve there, handled by Hughes. That ball set high and chipped into the angle.
It's live. 13-10.
13-10, this women's semifinal. First of 4 semis. One more on the women's side before we head to the men. We have our finals for you on the CW coming up 2 o'clock Central Time. High line, perfectly done, just on the reach of the
perfect. It
Hughes.
had to be perfect. Sara Hughes.
It's crazy how precise those shots have to be from Nuss, though, to elude Sara Hughes in this one. I mean, she's touching everything.
Yeah, Sara was actually there, and then she just contacted the ball wrong, which is easy to do when you're laying out, but it's impressive that she was even there.
Does that weigh on you as an offensive player, even if the ball doesn't get dug per se? Someone's touching every shot, you feel like you have to carve off more and more and more and sometimes make mistakes?
You know, that's what coaches say a lot of the time, like, just go, and if you get a hand on it, you're going to affect the hitter.
Here's your chance to call the coaches a liar. Here we go.
For me as a player on offense, if I get a kill, it's a kill. And I'm like, oh, that worked. You know, whether they touch it or not, it doesn't really affect what I'm going to do the next time.
Okay.
Subconsciously, maybe it does. Consciously, I'll say it usually does not.
All right, we will dive into April Ross's subconscious as we go through Championship Sunday here. That's going to be an adventure. Looking forward to it. 14-12, close off a tough side out. See if they can continue to grab a little bit more momentum here. They have gotten a couple of points.
This match is far from over.
Nuss corner to corner. A little more down the middle here. Hughes. They'll have to give the free ball over. Here comes Nuss. Clean opportunity. Short line is there.
Yes.
So Taryn and Kristen have changed a couple things strategically. It looks like they're trying to serve Sara in the middle, which sometimes can take the on-2 out of it, but it also cuts down on Sara's really good cut shot. So that allowed them to make a play on defense, and they're continuing to set Kristen a little bit lower, which seems to be helping her.
And they've cut Hughes' offensive production in half here in set number 2. 15-13, now the 2-point advantage for Cheng and Hughes.
Set number 2, whoever you're rooting for, now is the time to let
Really good shot from Hughes, too, because Taryn Kloth at the net kind of doing a where am I, inside, outside, jumping back to the line. Sara's seeing it all.
Cheng and Hughes tough. When they win that first set, they are almost unbeatable. However, the battles between these teams have featured a first set victory and then a 3-set loss. Here's a run to the line. Hughes, nobody up. She'll get an almost identical opportunity here. No, she won't, because her partner takes the 2, gets the touch and the point.
It's 16-13.
That ball will go middle, Nuss with the winner. They stay within 2 here in our second set. All right, so what will Taryn Kloth do from the line here? You suggested, April, that she just hit it from here into the wind, give it a whirl.
This is great jump serving weather. I'm
All right.
a little jealous they get to be out there doing it.
April Ross's favorite skill, jump serving.
It is.
Line shot. Nuss is there. Have to convert. And she does. Within 1.
You figure this is a good rotation, for lack of a better word, for Taryn and Kristen right now, if she can warm up that serve like you suggested, April.
Yeah, she's got to hit it hard, aim for the back line, trust that the wind is going to push it in.
Then she rolls it right into the middle. Still working on Hughes. And Hughes cuts it off of Kloth's hands.
On the side out. 17-15.
Holding on to just enough of an advantage for the moment, Cheng and Hughes. Our women's semifinal number 2 is on the way. The Canadians, the silver medalists in Paris, Humana Paredes and Wilkerson, will face off with Rodriguez and Urango, who played their best volleyball over the last 2 weeks. Manhattan leading into Chicago.
That's one thing you really don't want to do on the quote-unquote bad side with the wind at your back, is miss your serve. It's so much harder to side out on that side. You want to make the other team play as much as possible.
Hughes, long run from the back line, and it results in a net shot. And a tie, 17-all.
This is crazy how Taryn and Kristen just always manage to do this.
Well, you mentioned their demeanor at the top of the broadcast, right? And they just are so even-keeled no matter the circumstance, like you said. I really admire that out of them.
I do too. I don't know how they managed to do it. It's impressive.
Undefeated their final year in college and trying
to
get to the 3rd set and continue their potential three-peat in Chicago.
There again was that low set in transition that you talked about, April. Kind of keeps it out of the wind, but I think it also puts pressure on your opponents quicker, right? They have less time to reset. And then the wide open line shot, easy for Kristen over the top.
See if we can listen in to Cheng Hughes as they take the timeout here, now trailing by 1.
So for me, it's as they start creeping back, right, we're getting a little bit tighter and tighter. So see if we can take that deep breath and just stay disciplined and execute the same way we've been doing. If Kristen gets sick, so be it. It's okay, right? We know it's going to be a battle. Side out here, come in strong. Remember, setters get a good call. You know, they're running 2-4 on you, but that's what we're thinking and what we're seeing.
Just how elite have these two been on the AVP tour? Nuss has played 22 tournaments, Kloth 17 tournaments. They both have 7 victories, those coming together. On the other side, you think of Hughes and Cheng as an elite team. Hughes has 7 victories, Cheng has 5 in double the tournaments, 44 and 42 respectively. Kloth and Nuss have made their home on the AVP. Can they continue the run here? Will we go to a third set? That ball's a little bit tight. Nuss all over it and cuts it for the winner. They have completely reversed it here in the second, 19-17.
That's an example of the defender doubling the blocker. So the blocker called angle. Kristen was supposed to run line, but she saw the angle coming and stayed behind Taryn.
Jordan Cheng saying his club is playing a little bit tight and things are getting tighter. As the first set point comes to bear for Kloth and Nuss on this run.
17, oh my goodness. What a run.
And Taryn and Kristen's rhythm is completely different than it was when they started this match. And I think a lot of it has to do with that lower set.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very visible upgrade they've made in their approach here, and it's working out beautifully.
For the set, a little bit long. Second opportunity now. Still some room having been built on the strength of that run. From 2 down to 3 up. They can side out here to send us to a third. Nuss, right side, looks, goes for the line, executed perfectly, and he will play 3.
We are going 3.
If history holds, Kloth and Nuss are going to win and go to the finals for the 3rd straight year here in Chicago. It's up to Cheng and Hughes to grab the momentum back for the 3rd set.
How about a little magic, huh?
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now. We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, for San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here.
How much does history matter? The 30th year since the AVP came to Chicago inaugurally, and 2 teams that have a long history in the last 2 years against one another. They have gone 3 sets 4 times. Every single time, the team that won the first set lost the match, including a 24-22 score in a set to 15 in the Pro Tour Finals.
That's a crazy stat. Normally, I feel like it usually is in favor of the team that wins the first set, normally takes the match. And I just can remember.
I would think the same.
Yeah.
One thing to know about Kevin, too, is he's a believer that statistics are a perfect predictor of what is going to happen in the future.
See, I'm an anti-stat.
Oh, no, I don't like stats either. Rich is just making fun of me. I think the concentration on stats, the Billy Beaning of everything, is a bit much.
Agreed.
Because coaches rely on stats and say, well, the stats told us we should do this. You go, hey, bud, that's the past. And by the way, your job is to make the future.
Yeah, and you can't measure intangibles with stats. You can't measure situations with statistics. A lot of times it's someone who can make lemonade out of lemons is hard to measure, and that can be a really valuable player.
We'll see who makes it out of the lemons here as the wind picks up.
Oh, wow.
And the intensity does too. Nice play by Kloth there. Hughes played a ton of defense early and had huge stats. Nuss shoots it.
That's not what you want to see if you're Cheng and Hughes, is Kristen Nuss really warming up defensively.
She even looked surprised that the ball was in and that she was able to do that. I'm like, you do that every single match.
Yeah, you do it all the time.
All the time.
Both defenders in double figures. Nuss with 14, Hughes with 10. A rare ball to Cheng. Stop for the moment. Oh, they got Kloth a little in the popcorn popper there for a minute.
A little bit. She was still in good position. Kelly going a little bit more middle with that one, sneaking it under the left hand.
Two third set action. Cheng and Hughes offensively had a good first set, had a terrible second set, hitting 273 total. That ball saved, chipped, and there's some lemonade.
Kristen Nuss,
Yeah, exactly.
Had to pull it out of the net. She did. Perfect set to put away from Taryn.
I like that expression. Statistics and all that are a great place to kind of build your starting point, but the teams that are the best in the world, I think, start wherever they start and then make the necessary adjustments as a match goes on, right?
Yeah, even if that wasn't a kill, you know, if she could make a good shot that gets the other team on the ground and then they make another defensive play, you can't measure that really as a stat, but it's really important, your ability to do that, to keep the pressure on the other team, not make a mistake if, you know, the ball's not where you want it.
You have to analyze and then predict or execute if you're the player. And the analyze part is, okay, I've looked at the stats. Now I can predict what's going to happen next with that as part of what I'm about to do.
Yeah, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
Yeah, you don't want to dismiss it, but hey, it's the past. And so we talked before on the broadcast about the irrational belief that any of us have to have as a player when you're out there, that no matter what happened in the last play, I'm going to win the next play. No matter how badly I've been beaten the last 10 points in a row, I believe the next point will be my point.
You got to have a memory like a goldfish.
Yeah. What'd you say? That ball goes middle. Here comes Cheng and Hughes. All right, 4-4, everything even.
So that's the give and take of serving Sara in the middle. You cut down on her cut shot, but if she gets a good pass, Kelly can execute that onto really, really well.
They work mostly on Nuss, and that continues. Nuss with that little tuck-in move with her route, pops back out and puts it down the line.
I would watch and see if Sara and Kelly decide to serve Taryn on this side going forward. Kristen is in a really good rhythm. I don't know what her hitting percentage is in this set and the last set, but I would imagine it's extremely high.
That ball is just wide. Touch call.
Got the touch.
Taryn says no.
Referees.
Wow.
This kind of reaction.
Okay, Taryn.
When a blocker reacts like that, you tend to believe them.
Yeah, I mean, especially someone like Taryn, if she's not out here trying to lie her way to victory. Yeah, no touch there on the replay. You're not going to vehemently argue a call that's not going to get overturned anyways if you're telling a falsehood.
It's important to make your case, though, for the next ball.
And perhaps even more important to win the next ball. And that's what Kloth and Nuss just did. 6-5, shook it off and moved on. Will Kloth continue to hit it hard from this side? If you're a TKN fan, you just yelled, "Ball never lies," at your television or screen.
That's part of the goldfish memory.
Believing that the ball has any sort of conscience or ability. Cut shot there.
Back and forth we go. 6-6.
Did you ever work with Ken Ravizza, sports psych guy?
I don't believe so.
No. He was, one of the things he used to say is, do you feel like everything has to go your way, excuse me, in order for you to win? I thought it was kind of a great perspective. I don't need every call to go right. I don't need every condition to be perfect in order for me to win out there. And that's really a good mindset when you get a call that goes against you, right?
Yeah. Alex and I were big proponents of just being willing to win ugly. You don't have to feel good. It doesn't have to look good. Most of the time it won't. But you got to keep that belief high, your body language positive, and just always think that you're in it.
That's a great sentiment here in Chicago. Remember the '84 White Sox winning ugly.
Corner 7-7, 1 point to the halfway
mark.
mark.
A win is a win. A point is a point is a
Set
point.
number 3.
Right, whether you cut it or hit a hot pocket, it's the same point on the board. Yeah, I love that, Rich. That's a great way to think about not just sports, but life. Do you need everything to go your way in order to have success?
He said it a little more colorfully, but for our audience, I'll keep it clean.
Well, and if you pair that with, think about controlling the things that you can control. Remember, Hugh McCutcheon big on that one. Why are you upset about something you have no influence over? All it's doing is distracting from your efforts.
Very easy to say up here, sitting up here. It's hard
Absolutely.
to continue to work on that and practice that every day as an athlete, especially in these high-pressure situations, which we're in right now. This is a crucial point in the match here.
And here comes the option. So crucial point, Cheng and Hughes going back to some of their roots.
Kelly and Sara on the good side, they have to make a push here. They need to switch back to the bad side, either even or possibly up a point, I believe, to have a chance in this match.
Serving into the win, tied at 8, race to 15. Nobody anywhere near that drop shot from Kristen Nuss.
Yeah, that is so well seen. I was going to say, welcome to the commentating booth, April, where we judge and don't have to execute anything.
It's kind of nice up here.
Age and distance. Yeah.
Will they serve Sara in her middle? Oh, going to Kelly.
Go, Kelly!
And it generates a point.
It's 10-8.
Is this the break? 10-8. We saw him run points in that second to take control from 2 down to 3 up, right to a set point.
Well, you talked about them needing to be up on this side change. Now the best they can do is be tied.
Yeah, they need this point desperately right here, switching to the bad side.
All right, can they manufacture one? Can Cheng get a hold of a block? She had 3 in the first set.
If I was Sara right here, I'd go to Taryn. Try something different, and she's on, you know, quote unquote the bad side, the worst side.
A little pop out, and this time swinging under is Kristen Nuss, and they will continue to carry that 2-point advantage as they switch to the good side.
I remember your former partner, Jen Kessie, her husband, one time said something in a very interesting way that always sticks with me. He said, fail differently. Right? If you're doing something and it's not working, try something different. It was just an interesting way to phrase it, I thought.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you got to try something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right?
Correct. Which is why I think clinically I'm technically insane.
All right, we'll get into the subconscious of April Ross, and we will analyze Rich Lamborn as the day wears on here. Good touch, but it's not quite enough. And they're going to need one here in the next couple of points, are Cheng and Hughes. If they're going to rally, trailing by 2, perhaps 3 to go for Kloth and Nuss.
To borrow a vocabulary word from you, April, palpably diminished is the energy on the side of Cheng and Hughes, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit live by the sword, die by the sword.
Sounds like a Trojan thing. That ball is shot underneath. Hughes with the flipper and got it.
That could be a momentum shifter.
An energy grab from Cheng and Hughes.
So when you play with that much intensity and that much energy, and it plays into your game as much as it does, you have to be willing to go through those ugly phases and those lulls and still keep that energy positive and high. If you let it get low, sometimes it's hard to turn it back around.
Cheng Hughes still looking for one. Sara Hughes. Line to line. Check down line shot. No one anywhere near it.
Up by 2 with 2 to go. 13-11.
13-11.
Kristen is just infallible right now. I don't think you give her another ball.
All right, so you want to go to Nuss, or pardon me, to Kloth right now.
Kloth, it's not a great option, but I think you gotta try Taryn.
Well, Kloth is hitting 207. Nuss is hitting 533. They'll have to side out first. It'll be Cheng's responsibility. She's got it.
Bringing up the scene, we will take our side switch at 12.
To the good side.
Chicago.
In need of at least one to extend this match.
Yes.
Man, you couldn't ask for a better match to start this day. I'm enjoying this.
She's April Ross. Rich Lamborn is here. I'm Kevin Barnett. We're going to carry you through Championship Sunday here in Chicago. They remain on Nuss, who's been chopping them up. And this time they get her. Double axe handle, no good. Hughes cannot get there. 14-12 match point opportunity for the two-time reigning champions.
How hard is that shot by Kristen Nuss to execute when you're kind of falling to your left and then you hit a cut shot?
That's impossible 9 out of 10 times.
Match ball. Hughes to the middle, trying to go wrist away. Reset. This time she'll be on the left. No, she won't. It'll be the left hand of Cheng.
Point number 2
that gets them
14.
one more opportunity to score. Second match ball for Kloth and Nuss.
I gotta agree with you, April. Go Brazilian style and throw it the other way after going to Kristen the entire set.
Does Kloth get the ball?
Wouldn't be a bad option.
They stick with Nuss. They don't get her. The comeback is complete. 15-13.
Kevin Barnett's statistics prove perfect again.
It is nearly a mirror of the last time they met at the World Championships, except the other side wins. Cheng and Hughes took the first set 21-15. TKN comes back 21-18, 15-13.
A matchup you'll probably see in the league several times.
Kristen Nuss just too much, hitting near 600 for that match.
She played great. I mean, maybe it was part of the strategy. She suckered him into serving her every ball in the first set and then turned it around and
Playing
made him
possum
pay.
out there.
Yeah,
Huh?
exactly.
A very defensive match for both sides, but by the defense in this one past that first set.
Yeah, go ahead. I went the same. Maybe a different strategy they could have used is having Kelly pull off the net a little bit more against Kristen. I thought they could have done that. But the defenders played really well. They were all over the court. I thought it was impressive.
Rich, what do you see for Kloth and Nuss adjustment-wise going into their third final in 3 years?
Well, I like the adjustment they made in this one. April talked about it a lot, the lowering of the set to Kristen Nuss. That really helped her get in a great rhythm. And then I think Cheng and Hughes didn't kind of make an adjustment back, certainly not in enough time, right? They were kind of still holding on to the success they had had against her earlier in the match. And sometimes it's hard. You get caught up in remembering how we were successful before and you don't make another adjustment mid-match.
All right, Kloth and Nuss with the comeback victory. By the way, you've already won here on Championship Sunday with that opener as our beginning match to what will be a total of 6 To be with you here on Ballet Live, and we're looking forward to the CW for our finals. Next up, we have our second women's semifinal on the way. We have the Canadians, the silver medal. Rodriguez and Urango. That's an interesting matchup with kind of two different generations of players.
Yeah, and Gina and Tony have been playing really well. We ended up losing to them in Manhattan Beach Open. They have improved so much over this summer. But then Melissa and Brandy are Melissa and Brandy, and they are one of the best teams in the world, which they proved in Paris. So it'll be tough. It'll be tough, but I think it'll be a good match.
Yeah, that's going to be a rematch from earlier in this tournament. And Gina and her partner were getting knocked into the contenders bracket by the Canadians. So we're looking forward to that one. They're out on the sand now, getting ready for warm-up. All right, semifinal number 1 in the books. Kloth and Nuss will defend their title. Who will they face? We'll find out next, and we'll go to the men's side. See you again momentarily.